Now we can create a Java project because what we have is a repo now locally, but we don't have any project there, right? So it's just a couple of files that we created from GitHub, right? And now let's create a Java project and let's start working on that. Okay, so let me take IntelliJ IDEA and let me create a Java project. Okay, so let me take IntelliJ IDEA, and I'm gonna select new project so that we can create a new project, and I'm gonna create a Java Maven project. All right. Okay. So while naming the project, let's give the same name of the repo. Okay. So it's a little tricky thing. I can show you how the project is created within the same repo. Okay. So let's give the same name as a repo here, Java hyphen study. Okay. And then here in the location, let's select the right location. So I had it in dev and then Java study. Okay, so let me just open this, and here it's showing that the project will be created in dev Java study and again Java study. Okay, I don't want that, so I'm gonna remove Java study here and like this. Okay, so I just want to create the project in its parent folder, that is dev. So what I did is I cloned the repo into dev folder. Okay, so a project name, a folder named Java study was created under that, right? So how IntelliJ create a project is like, you mention a location here and then you give a project name. So a project will be created under a folder with the project name. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna do the in location. I'm just giving the parent folder, that is dev, and the name I'm gonna give exactly like the repo name, Java hyphen study. So you have to give it exactly like this, okay, because otherwise it's going to create a new folder in a different name, right? So we don't want that to happen. Okay, so once you practice with this, then you will be very familiar with these kind of things. Okay, we'll be doing it multiple times, and let us practice it more, and let's be very familiar with this. Okay, so we gave project name and also the location, and then you don't need to select this because we already created a repository. And the build system, let's select Maven, and the JDK version, you can select the latest JDK version. At the time of recording of this video, it is 21 is the LTS version of Java. So I selected 21, and then let us click the create button so that the project will be created. Now you can see the project in the project explorer. This is a Java study. This is the root folder, and under this you have multiple folders and files. Okay, so let us be familiar with each of these folders. This is a Maven project, so you can see the Maven project structure under this. So let's take a look at each of these files and folders. So here under this there is a .idea folder created. Okay, what is this? So this is like, so IntelliJ IDEA is the editor, and there is a .idea folder added, and this has got some some files. Okay, this will have some settings files added by IntelliJ IDEA. So we do not want those files to be kept under Git, because the IDEA settings files for me could be different from other team members, right? Because that could be maybe like the font colors, in my personal preferences, the themes, okay, things like that, the color themes and all. So I do not want these things to go into the Git, so that in some other team member, when they take these when they clone it, their local settings will be messed up, right? So we do not want that to happen. Okay, so what do we do with this? We have to add it to git ignore file, .git ignore file. So we created a .git ignore file from GitHub. So whatever files that we want to ignore, we can add it to .gitignore file. Okay, so accidentally we won't be committing any such unwanted files. That's the reason. Okay, so let us add this one .idea into .gitignore. So let me open .gitignore. So here you can see that GitHub has already added a bunch of files under this. Okay, so now in order to add a new file into .gitignore, IntelliJ IDEA has an easy way. Either you can type it over here or you can automatically add it through a menu. So I don't want anything under .idea to be committed. Okay, so I'm gonna right click here, .idea folder, and then select Git, and then you select add to gitignore and select .gitignore, so that see it's added to here. Now under this folder, none of the items, none of the files from this folder will be added to Git. Okay, it will be permanently, it will be completely ignored by Git. That's the advantage of .gitignore file. Okay, now let's take the next one, src. Okay, so under src you have two folders, main and test. Okay, as per the maven structure, and you under main you have java, right? So under java we'll be adding the code, right? We have the test folder here. So this is for adding the tests, right? So if you when you develop a product, you'll be adding the product code here, software product code here, and the corresponding test code will be added under the test folder, right? And there is a pom.xml file, which is obviously the maven settings file, and there is a readme.md file. This is the second file that we added from github. So let us take a quick look at this. See, it has added some text into this java study, this java study project. So these things were added. If you want to modify this, you can select the editor. See, there are three buttons here. You select this and you can just modify this. So anyone who is any new person is joining to this project, when they take a look at this readme file, they'll get an idea about the details. So if you want to convey something to other team members, then you can type it here, so that will be like a help file for them if they need to take care of something. Okay, so this is for the information purpose. Okay, I'm just starting something. All right, and there are different views for this. Okay, that's it. Okay, maybe let's create a new file. Let me add a java class here. Just give a name like hello world. Okay, hello world. Okay, so when I add a new file, git is asking me whether you want to add it to git. Okay, so this is a feature in IntelliJ, in fact. Okay, so if you click add, what happens is it's gonna be added to the staging area. Okay, otherwise it will be in your working directory only. Okay, so since we want this file to be added to git, you have to click add. Okay, so there are git commands for all of the git operations, but now it will be very easy if you work with IDEs like IntelliJ, because there is a good integration of Git within these IDEs. So you don't need to remember all those Git commands. So let me click add, so that the git add command will be executed in the background. Okay, so let me click add. So this file has been added to Git. Okay, now let me zoom it a bit so that we have a new class file, and under this let us create the code psvm, so that it's going to create a main method, and from here let's type something like hello world. There you go. Okay, now let me execute this. Okay, so it will compile this file and it's going to create Java object code, right? So now we got the result here, hello world. And you can also take a look at on the left side. See, there is a new folder created named target. Okay, and under target there are some folders and files creator. There is a classes folder, and here you can see a hello world file. So this file is in fact the Java bytecode. So we compiled hello world.java, and then the Java compiler created the object code or Java bytecode, which is hello world. Okay. So in fact, this is the one which is executed, and it is giving this result hello world. Okay, because uh, it is the JVM which executes the code, right? So hello world.java cannot be executed by JVM. So if JVM has to execute the Java code, that has to be Java bytecode or the compiled code. So this is the source code hello world.java. So the Java compiler, what it does when you click on this run button, what really happens behind the scene is the Java compiler compiles this file hello world, and it will convert this high level code, source code, into Java bytecode, the object form of code or the low level code. And that's how the hello world dot class file will be created. So if you take a look at this, let's go to the Finder, open in Finder. In case of Windows, it's open in Explorer, right? And if you take a look at it, you can see the extension. You can go to this location, and you can see that it's a hello world dot class file. Okay, so that means its extension is dot class. So this is a low level language code or the Java bytecode. Okay, and this is the one actually being executed behind the scene. Okay, but converting hello world.java into hello world.class and executing hello world.class, so all these things will be taken care by IntelliJ IDEA. So it's very easy for us since we are using an IDE like IntelliJ IDEA. Otherwise, if you're using something like a notepad application or a basic editor, you'll have to do all these things by your own in command line. Okay, so the point here is like we have a new folder, target folder. Okay, so this compiled code or the Java bytecode, we don't need these code to be kept under Git, because what we need is the source code, okay, the Java code, but the object code we don't want. So we need to ignore these ones as well. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to add this target also into dot gitignore file. So let us open dot gitignore file and let's see if it's already here. Okay, let me just search. Okay, so there's the first line. It's already here actually. So who added it? It's added by GitHub. When we created this file, we selected the language as Java, right? So GitHub, knows what are the common files uh, to be ignored by Java project. So it has added target here. Okay, so it's already added, so we don't need to add it again. Okay, and you can see that the files which are added to .gitignore are colored with brown. Okay, see, so this is the color coding of IntelliJ. Okay, so we have all the required files added to .gitignore, and we also created a new file hello world. Okay, let's go back to the Git workflow diagram, and let us see where we are now. Okay, from the local repo, we created a project, right, and we opened it. So by default there is a checkout happened, and you have everything in the workspace. Okay, so what IntelliJ does is it will check out to the to a default branch which is called main, and we checked out to the main branch. Okay, and we started working over here in the workspace. So let me just show you the branch. Let's go to IntelliJ, and here it is showing the branch. Okay, so we are under main branch now. Okay, so we'll be explaining about the branching more in the coming topics, but let's just understand that we are under the main branch now, just to make it clear that the checkout has performed. Okay, so checkout means we are going to a particular branch. Okay, and now uh, we are in the workspace or working directory, and we made some changes. We added some items into .gitignore file. So we changed it .gitignore file, and we also added one file, right? So which file we added? We added hello world.java file. That's a new file we added to Git, right? So when we created the file, there was a pop-up, right, asking whether you want to add it to Git, and we click add button. So the moment you add it, when the moment you click the add button, what happened is the git add command worked. So it will move to the staging area. So that means Git is monitoring it. Okay. So we are here now. So there are some changes. Okay. And all those changes are there in the staging area. Okay. Now what we have to do. So the changes has to be copied or transmitted to local repo. Okay. So for moving the changes to local repo from staging area, what we have to do? We have to do a commit. Now we're going to do a commit. Okay, so let's go back to IntelliJ and let's do a commit. Okay, so we're going to do the commit. Let's select the commit from the menu. Let's go to Git menu and then click commit. All right. Okay, so it's showing some details here. So it's showing your changes, okay, the changes. So what are the changes? You have some changes in .gitignore, okay, and you have added a new file which is shown in green, in fact, just a color coding of IntelliJ, hello world.java, and then you have made some changes in the readme.md as well. Remember, we added some text, right? So these are the changes that you have done, okay. Now it is showing unversioned files. Okay, there is one more thing. Pom.xml. So this file was created when we created the project, right? It was not there in the repository. Remember, we created the repository from where? From GitHub. Okay, so this pom.xml was created when we created the project from IntelliJ, right? So now we have to add this one also into Git. So how do we add it to Git? Okay, let's see if we can add it from here, Git, and yeah, so right click this, then from here also we can add from Git, click add. Okay, select add, so that will also be added. So that file also was added to staging area. So and look at this, so we have it here. So these are the changes. So now we have to select this one as well. So all these changes are selected. Okay, so whatever that you want to transmit at the time of commit, you have to select all these things. Okay, so all these are selected, and now let us give a comment here. Okay, I'm gonna give a comment like, the project created. Okay, we just created a Java project here, right? And there is a commit button here. Okay, so before doing the commit, so there is some settings here. So commit options. So there are some features in IntelliJ. There is a code analyze option. Okay, so it's a static code analyzer which will analyze our code and make some suggestions. And there is a check to do. So if you want to do some coding at later stage, but you just want to mark as to do as a comment, then that also will be notified you at the time of commit. So for the time being, I'm gonna turn off all these settings, and then let's do the commit. I'm gonna click commit button, and it is showing like 4 files committed. Okay, project created. So project created is the commit, right? So the commit part is done. Now where are we right now? Let's go back to the diagram and see where we are now. Okay, all right, so we did the commit. So the changes that we did are moved to local repo. Okay, so we are here, right? Now we created a project and we can share the project to our team members, right? So how can we do that? We have to move it to remote repo, okay? Because the collaboration happens here in the remote repo. The other team members cannot access your local repo because that's in your local machine, your laptop, right? So if you want to share your changes to other team members, what you have to do, you have to move the changes from your local repo into the remote repo. Okay, so for that you have to do git push. So let's do the git push so that the changes will be moved to the remote repository. Okay, let's go and do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is from the git menu, I'm going to select a push. Okay, so let's do a push. In fact, you can select these from different areas. Okay, but for the time being, I'm just selecting it from here. Push. Okay, so now it's showing the commits that you are done. So you have one commit project created, and you're gonna push that, right? Okay, so if you have multiple commits, everything will be listed over here. Okay, so let's do the push, and let's see what happens. Now you can see that pushing is done. Okay, since we are doing it for the first time, it's asking you to log into GitHub to continue. Okay, so you have to do a login, and then you have to do the push, because you're accessing the GitHub now, because it has to connect to your repo in the GitHub from your machine. Okay, so let's log in via GitHub. Let's click this button. Let's go over there, and then in your browser, you can select authorize in GitHub. Okay, just click this button, and so there is an integration with JetBrains IDE. So here you can say authorize JetBrains. Okay, just select this one, the button. Okay, so now it's you have been successfully authorized in GitHub, right? So let's close this, and let's go back to our IntelliJ IDE, and it's showing pushed one commit to git slash sorry to origin main. Okay, so the push has been completed. Now where are we? Okay, so let's go back to the diagram. Okay, so we pushed the changes from local repo into remote repo. So the new project files, so when you created the project, the additional files, those are moved from here to from your local repo into remote repo. So let's go to remote repo, that is GitHub, and check whether we have received the files here. Okay, let's go there. So here we are in GitHub now, and at the time of creating this repo, we had only 2 files, right? So now let us refresh it and let us check. I'm going to click refresh, and here now you can see the additional files came here. Okay, there are folder structure like src, main, java, and you have gitignore, readme.md. Okay, so these are the older files, but the new file pom.xml came here. Okay, and let us click this one and check if you have the hello world under this. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and here you can see that there's a hello world.java file. Okay, so we received all the new files here, and the git push is successful, and we have everything here. Okay,